Hi friends, welcome to another edition of Quick Tip videos brought to you by dataplatformcentral.com. In this edition of Quick Tip videos, we are going to see a Power BI Quick Tip, which is how to use the anomaly detection feature in line charts. Anomaly detection, which you are probably aware, is a new feature that came in the November 2020 update of Power BI Desktop. This feature allows us to analyze the anomaly of values that are detected during an analysis in our line charts. This feature even helps us to analyze the root cause behind those anomalies that appears in our data points. This is a very helpful feature that can be used to identify the outliers or the points which causes our analysis to skew. So basically anomaly means any points which is deviating above a certain percentage from our normal region of points. Whenever you are doing some kind of an analysis, you will have the values which will generally fall between a range of boundary values like a mean value and a max value. So basically the value analysis value will generally fall between a range which is indicated by the mean value and the max value. But there will be a small percentage of values which will either go beyond the max value or go below the mean values. These are really known as the anomalies. So anomaly detection will help you to identify those regions within your charts where these anomalous scenarios can occur. This will help you to dive further into those regions and analyze what causes these anomalies, which you can later tune to help in further refining your analysis. So let's see how we can implement this feature, which is available inside line charts visual inside your Power BI desktop. To illustrate this, let's look into this sample project which I have opened in my Power BI desktop latest version. So provided you have a Power BI desktop with the version greater than November 2020 update, you will be able to use the anomaly detection feature inside it. Since this is a feature still in the preview stage, the first step you need to do is to enable the feature from the options. For this purpose, you need to go to File, go to Options and Settings. Inside that there is a Options setting. Go inside that and there will be a tab for Preview Features. Inside that you need to make sure that you are enabling anomaly detection. So I have already enabled it, that's why it was checked for me. In case it's unchecked, you need to first check it. Only when you do this feature will be available inside your Power BI desktop. And if you are doing it for the first time, Power BI may ask you to restart. I have done it already, so that's why it's working fine for me. And one more thing, because this is a preview feature which came in one of the recent updates of Power BI, this feature is not yet rolled up to a Power BI RS version, which is report server version. So if you are using Power BI desktop which is optimized for report server, unfortunately you will not be able to use this feature at this point in time. So generally if you see, the rollout of features happens first in the Power BI desktop version, and later once a sufficient amount of testings have been done and the feature has been generally available, they will make it available for report server version at a later point of time. So if you see from a feature perspective, report server will always be 2 to 3 versions behind the cloud version of Power BI. Okay, now let's come back and look at the anomaly detection illustration. So here I have a data model also included here, which has few dimension tables and also some tables with some measure columns. For the sake of this illustration, I am going to use a measure column called cumulative quantity, which is available inside sales order items table within my model. So I am going to first add a line chart, which is where anomaly detection feature is available, and One of the prerequisites for using anomaly detection feature is that there should be a time series present in your analysis data, which means that there should be time dimension based attribute added to the particular visual. So we'll first add a measure quantity here. So I'll drag and drop a cumulative quantity onto the values, and for the axis I am going to choose a time series based or a date based column. So I have a column called order date inside my table, which I am going to use as the axis, because anomaly detection feature requires time series as an axis. Automatically it will start adding a date hierarchy to the axis, which I don't want. Instead I want the actual date value. So I'll go to the arrow here and I'll choose the date value directly instead of putting the date hierarchy. This will automatically plot the values against individual dates for the line chart, and you can see a pattern like what you see. It's totally random. If you see, there are like a common region and there are few values which are going up and down. So these are our anomalies. So now we are going to use anomaly detection feature to detect these areas which are having these anomalous values. So for that purpose, if you see, there is an option called analytics pane which is available with line chart. If you have used any of anything like a trend chart or average chart or median chart before, you might have used this feature. So anomalies is also one of the options available inside the analytics feature. So if you see, the last option here would be find anomalies. This option will be available only if you have enabled the preview feature, which we did in the previous step. So go inside that and you can click on add, and you can add a anomaly detection. Automatically you will see the anomaly points being marked using this marker. One of the main properties to check here is the sensitivity. By default, when you add a new anomaly detection feature, the sensitivity chosen will be 70%. The sensitivity property tells what should be the sensitivity of the system, that is how the system should react to a change. A higher value of sensitivity means that any small change from the previous value might be identified as an anomaly. So as we keep on increasing the sensitivity, the number of anomaly points it identifies will also increase. Similarly, when you decrease the sensitivity, the number of points will decrease, because the system will only identify those points which are changing beyond a particular level as an anomaly condition. So if you, for example, if you change it to 87 and click on apply, you can see that the number of points have now increased as we expect. And similarly, when you are decreasing it to say 49% and clicking on apply, you can see that the number of points will decrease. So that is how the system adapts or reacts to a change of value from the previous values, which is nothing but a deviation. So once you have completed up this part, the second part is how you can explain each of these points. So if you go to one of those, so I'll just revert it back to 77 for now. And once you go to one of the points and click on any one anomaly point which is identified by the system, you can see that it shows a separate tab for explaining those anomalies based on various parameters. So if you see this tab which speaks about the anomalies, you can see that it will give some possible explanations. This is based on a set of related attributes. So if you see, this is similar to the functionality you get when you use key influencer visual inside Power BI. So in this case, if you see the explanations, you can see that, for example, financial year is 2008, state is Texas, store name is Rowlett Bike. So these are all basically the parameter values which the system believes has a greater influence on your anomaly points. So if you just expand on any one of them, for example, the highest strength is 99%, which says financial year is 2008. If you open that, it will clearly suggest that for the financial year 2008, if you see the values, most of the values are unusually very high. So that means whenever the financial year is 2018, there is a high chance of that causing an anomaly condition, which is what it explains, and it even highlights the values corresponding to financial year 2018 separately for you with the graph. Similarly, you can see explanations based on other parameters like say store name is Rowlett Bikes, state is Texas. If you click on state is Texas, it's 71% strength, which means whenever the state value is Texas, there is a 71% more chance of it causing an anomaly within the system. And as usual, within the graph, it will clearly identify or highlight those points which are belonging to Texas. If you want to restrict it to only a handful of parameters, you can do that. There is a property called explain by. You can go to any one of your dimensions and drag and drop. For example, I am going to production brands dimension, dragging and dropping brand name inside it, and I'm clicking on apply. So then it will only restrict the explanations based on this particular parameter. So in this case, if you see, if there is anything which is related to brand names, it will show that. If there is no explanation, it will be blank. Suppose if I am adding a for example category name here, let's see if there is anything which is related to category name, and click on apply. Yeah, you can see that category name is mountain bikes, then there is a 39% of causing an anomaly. So basically it gives the effect of each of these parameter values onto the possible causing of a anomaly condition. And these are the main 2 points to take into consideration when you are using the anomaly feature. And there are also a few other cosmetic properties which you can make use of. For example, you can choose any one of the available shapes for indicating your anomaly points. And if you want to give it a different color, you can choose a different color so that they can be highlighted better. Or you can, if you want, you can choose a different type of range. Currently the range is filled using a fill kind of an algorithm. If you want to use a line instead, you can use line so that it shows just the boundary lines for the boundary region of the allowable values. And if you want to change the color also, you can do a change of color. You can choose another color for the boundary and you can make it fill so that it will appear more attractively. So like that, small kinds of cosmetic properties also present. For anyone who wants to know about how this algorithm works, I can also give you the link on the description. Just follow the link on the description. This being a quick tip video, the explanation of the algorithm is beyond the scope of this particular video. So if anyone is interested to look into the actual algorithm which the system uses for the identification of these anomalies, you are free to do so by following the link on the description. So I hope this video gave you a quick review of how to use the anomaly feature, which is available in the latest update of Power BI Desktop. So as always, keep following my videos, and I hope you find them useful, and feel free to give your feedback as well. Meet you all soon with another useful video. Thank you all for the time.